Street art as a voice of society. Level B. 2. Upper intermediate. Street art is one of the most dynamic and expressive forms of modern culture. It appears on walls, bridges, abandoned buildings, underground passages, and sometimes even on the sides of trains. It is often bold, colorful, and full of emotion. Some people see it as vandalism, while others consider it a powerful, creative movement. But no matter what people think, one thing is certain: street art speaks. It communicates ideas, emotions, frustrations, and hopes. It reflects the voice of society, sometimes loud, sometimes subtle, but always meaningful. 1. What is street art? Street art is a broad term that includes many visual expressions created in public spaces. It is not limited to graffiti. It also includes murals, stencils, stickers, posters, installations, and even digital projections. While traditional graffiti focuses on stylized writing, street art often includes images, symbols, and messages aimed at the general public. Street art is different from art displayed in galleries or museums. It is accessible to everyone, to children walking to school, to commuters rushing to work, to tourists exploring a new city. It appears where life happens. This makes it democratic in a way that traditional art forms are not. Street art does not require a ticket, a dress code, or an invitation. It lives in the open, and anyone can see it. Because street art is placed in shared spaces, it often reflects shared issues. Artists comment on politics, social justice, environmental problems, culture, and identity. Their works become part of the urban landscape, shaping the atmosphere of neighborhoods and influencing how people experience their environment. 2. A brief history of street art. Although modern street art became popular in the late 20th century, the desire to express oneself on walls is ancient. Early humans painted on cave walls. Ancient Romans wrote messages on buildings. In many cultures, public writing was a way to communicate ideas, mark territory, or share beliefs. Modern graffiti culture began in the 1960s and 1970s in New York City. Young people started writing their names or tags on subway cars and walls. Over time, simple tags evolved into complex murals, full of color and style. Graffiti became a form of identity, creativity, and rebellion. In the 1980s and 1990s, street art developed as a separate movement. Artists used stencils, posters, and new techniques to communicate social messages. They wanted to reach a wide audience quickly and directly. As cities grew, inequality increased, and political tensions rose. Street art became a tool for expression, especially for those who felt unheard. Today, street art is a global phenomenon. Artists from all continents use public walls to speak about climate change, human rights, war, peace, discrimination, and personal struggles. Many cities now support legal murals, street art festivals, and cultural programs. But the essence remains the same. Street art is about communication. 3. The power of public space. One reason street art is so influential is that it exists in shared spaces. Public space belongs to everyone, but also to no one. It is a place where different cultures, backgrounds, and experiences meet. When an artist chooses a wall or building as a canvas, the artwork becomes part of the public conversation. Public space also has symbolic power. When a political message is painted near a government building, it sends a clear signal. When a mural about poverty appears in a wealthy area, It challenges viewers to reflect. When a colorful artwork brightens a neglected neighborhood, it restores dignity and beauty to a space that many ignored. Street art can transform the meaning of a location. A wall that once looked empty or abandoned becomes alive with color and thought. A dark alley becomes a gallery. A city becomes a museum without walls. This transformation can influence how people feel about their surroundings and about themselves. 4. Street art as protest. Many people associate street art with protest, and they are not wrong. Street art is often created when people feel they have no other platform to express their opinions. It becomes a tool for resistance, for raising awareness, and for demanding change. Throughout history, street art has appeared during moments of political crisis, during revolutions, wars, protests, and social movements. Walls have always spoken. Messages painted on public surfaces spread quickly and reached thousands of people without needing permission from authorities. For example, during the Arab Spring, walls in cities like Cairo and Tunis became powerful tools of communication. Artists painted portraits of activists, slogans calling for freedom, and images expressing hope and grief. These artworks played an important role in inspiring people and documenting the moment. Similarly, during movements like Black Lives Matter, street art appeared in many cities around the world. Murals honored victims, while messages on walls demanded justice. These artworks became historical symbols of collective emotions that words alone could not express. Protest art does not only show anger, it can also show unity, solidarity, and resilience. A single mural can remind people that they are not alone. It can give strength to communities and inspire future generations. 5. Giving a voice to the unheard. Not everyone has access to traditional art spaces or mainstream media. Many people, especially those from marginalized groups, may feel invisible or silenced. Street art gives them a platform that is free and public. Artists who represent minority communities use street art to tell their stories. These stories can include discrimination, immigration, identity struggles, or cultural pride. Murals created by indigenous artists, for example, celebrate their traditions and remind the public of histories that are often forgotten. Street art can also raise awareness about issues that society prefers to ignore: homelessness, mental health, poverty, addiction. When these topics appear on walls in the form of powerful images, they become impossible to overlook. By giving visibility to invisible problems, street art becomes a mirror that society must face. 6. A language beyond words. Street art communicates in a universal language. Even people who speak different languages can understand its messages through images, colors, symbols, and emotions. A mural showing a child holding a broken planet doesn't need a translation. A painting of a woman crying in front of destroyed buildings tells a story without words. A symbol of peace, drawn large on a city wall, is recognized everywhere. This is one of the greatest strengths of street art. It crosses borders and reaches people on an emotional level. In a world where communication is often divided by language, street art speaks directly to the heart. 7. The individual and the collective. Street art is created by individuals, but it belongs to the collective. Once a mural is on a wall, it becomes part of the city and part of the lives of the people who see it every day. It no longer belongs only to the artist, it becomes a shared experience. This shared experience can unite people. A mural in a neighborhood can become a symbol of pride for local residents. People may take photos with it, discuss it, or use it as a meeting point. It becomes part of their identity. At the same time, street art reflects collective emotions. When a society feels frustration, hope, or fear, these emotions often appear on its walls. In this way, street art acts like a social barometer, showing the mood of the people. 8. Street art and urban renewal. Street art is closely connected to urban transformation. Many cities use murals to revitalize neglected or abandoned areas. Colorful walls attract tourists, encourage local businesses, and create a sense of safety. For example, neighborhoods that once felt unsafe or forgotten can become vibrant cultural destinations after street art festivals or community mural projects. This process is sometimes called creative regeneration. However, urban renewal through street art can also be controversial. Some critics argue that cities use murals to hide deeper social problems or to attract investors, which can lead to gentrification when local residents are pushed out because living costs rise. This shows that street art is not only decoration, it is deeply connected to social and economic changes, and its impact can be complex. 9. The role of famous street artists. Although street art often comes from anonymous creators, many artists have become internationally known. Their works influence public opinion and inspire younger generations. Some of the most famous street artists include Banksy, Shepard Fairey, J.R., and Os Guimeos. Each of them has a unique style and message, but all share one idea: public art can speak loudly. Banksy, perhaps the most iconic figure in the world of street art, is famous for his stenciled works that mix humor with political commentary. His pieces often criticize war, consumerism, inequality, and government control. The mystery surrounding his identity adds to the power of his message. When a Banksy piece appears on a wall, it instantly becomes a global topic of discussion. Shepard Fairey, another influential figure, is known for the Obey series and the famous Hope poster of Barack Obama. His art focuses on propaganda, political communication, and social responsibility. His work demonstrates how street art can become part of the national conversation. J.R., a French artist, uses large-scale photographic portraits to explore themes such as identity, community, and human rights. He pastes huge images on buildings, bridges, rooftops, and even shipping containers. His work often involves direct collaboration with local residents, turning entire communities into participants in the artistic process. These artists show that street art is not just a hobby or an act of rebellion. It is a powerful cultural force that can influence politics, media, and society on a global scale. 10. Street art, media, and digital culture. In the 21st century, the relationship between street art and digital media has transformed the movement. Before social networks, street art was local. You had to be in a specific city or neighborhood to see a mural. Now, a photo of a wall can reach millions of people within minutes. This technological shift has changed the purpose and impact of street art. Murals no longer exist only for local communities. They become part of global conversations. A message painted in Sao Paulo can inspire people in Berlin. A protest artwork in Hong Kong can be shared by activists in New York. Digital culture has also influenced artistic techniques. Some artists use projectors, augmented reality, or interactive technology to create pieces that change depending on who views them. Others design artwork specifically to be photographed and shared online, using the internet as an extension of public space. However, digital visibility has also raised questions. When street art becomes viral, does it lose authenticity? When companies use murals as advertising, does street art become commercial? These debates show that street art is evolving, but still remains deeply connected to public dialogue. 11. Legal and ethical debates. Street art exists in a complex legal world. In many cities, painting on public walls without permission is illegal. Artists often work at night to avoid fines or arrest. This illegality is part of the culture. It represents freedom, rebellion, and independence. But as street art becomes more popular, laws and public opinion are changing. Some cities create legal walls where artists can paint freely. Others invite street artists to create official murals. This recognition makes street art more accepted, but it also creates tension. Some artists feel that legalization removes the original spirit of the movement. They believe that street art should challenge authority, not collaborate with it. There are also ethical questions. Who owns a piece of street art? The artist? The building owner? The city? What happens when someone removes a mural and sells it for money, as often happens with Banksy's works? Many argue that street art belongs to the public and should not be privatized. Another ethical issue is the impact of street art on communities. While murals can beautify a neighborhood, they can also attract developers and raise rent prices, pushing out local residents. This creates a paradox. Street art meant to support communities can indirectly contribute to their displacement. 12. Street art and identity. Identity is one of the most common themes in street art. Artists express their cultural backgrounds, personal experiences, and social identities through their works. Murals often feature faces, symbols, patterns, and stories that represent specific communities. For example, in Latin America, murals often reflect indigenous traditions, political struggles, and cultural pride. In South Africa, street art frequently explores themes of post-apartheid identity, racial equality, and healing. In East Asia, artists experiment with the tension between tradition and modernity, showing the rapid transformation of urban life. Street art allows people to see themselves represented in the city. It tells them that their stories matter. It also helps create a sense of belonging. When people see images that reflect their history and culture, they feel more connected to their environment. 13. The emotional power of street art. One of the most striking features of street art is its emotional intensity. Murals often appear in unexpected places: a quiet alley, a busy market, a bridge, or a ruined building. Their sudden presence creates a strong emotional impact. A mural can inspire joy through bright colors, humor, or playful characters. It can also express sadness, anger, or fear. When people pass by such images every day, they develop a relationship with the artwork. Over time, the mural becomes part of their emotional landscape. Street art often deals with difficult emotions such as grief, trauma, or collective pain. Murals created after natural disasters, wars, or tragedies help communities process their feelings. They act as public memorials, a space where people can remember, mourn, and reflect. 14. Community art and collective creation. Street art is not always the work of one person. Many projects involve entire neighborhoods, volunteers, schools, and community groups. Collective murals create a sense of unity. They encourage people to collaborate, talk, and share their perspectives. When residents take part in creating a mural, they often feel a stronger connection to their neighborhood. The process itself becomes an act of community building. People who might never talk to each other work side by side, sharing brushes, ideas, and stories. Community murals also make public art more inclusive. Not everyone can draw or paint perfectly, but everyone can participate. The result is a work that truly represents the collective spirit of the community. 15. Street art as storytelling. Street art is filled with stories. Some murals tell the story of a historical event. Others describe everyday life in a neighborhood. Some artworks mix fantasy and reality, creating imaginative worlds. Storytelling through murals has a unique rhythm. Unlike films or books, street art tells its story instantly. All the elements, characters, colors, symbols appear at once. Viewers interpret the artwork in their own way, bringing their own experiences and emotions into the story. Because street art is open to interpretation, it creates a dialogue between the artist and the public. The artist offers a story, and the viewers complete it with their imagination. This shared storytelling experience enriches urban life. 16. The temporary nature of street art. Unlike paintings in museums, street art is often temporary. Rain, sunlight, pollution, construction, and other artworks can damage or cover it. Some murals disappear within days. Others last for years. This impermanence gives street art a special beauty. Knowing that a mural will not last forever makes it more precious. People may visit a wall to take photos before it disappears. Artists may intentionally create temporary works to emphasize the message that life, like art, is constantly changing. But the temporary nature of street art also raises questions. Should important murals be protected? Should cities preserve them or let them fade naturally? There are no easy answers. The fragile nature of street art is part of what makes it authentic and alive. 17. Street art tourism. Many cities have become famous for their street art scenes. Tourists travel to places like Berlin, Sao Paulo, Melbourne, and Lisbon just to see murals. Entire districts become open-air museums, attracting visitors who want to explore creative, alternative cultures. Street art tourism can bring economic benefits. Local businesses, cafes, and galleries often grow thanks to the increased attention. Artists gain exposure, commissions, and opportunities. However, tourism can also commercialize street art. When murals become attractions, their deeper messages may be overshadowed by Instagram culture. What was once a tool for rebellion may turn into a photo backdrop. Still, many cities try to balance tourism with the authenticity of the street art movement. 18. Education through street art. Street art is also a powerful educational tool. Teachers use murals to discuss history, politics, culture, and social issues. Students learn to analyze images, symbols, and artistic choices. This visual learning can be more engaging than traditional classroom methods. Some schools collaborate with street artists to create murals with students. These projects teach creativity, teamwork, and communication. They also allow students to express their thoughts about their community, environment, or personal experiences. In addition, street art makes education accessible outside school. People who walk past murals every day learn about different topics, from environmental protection to human rights. Street art transforms the city into a space for learning. 19. The future of street art. Street art continues to evolve. As technology advances, artists experiment with new methods, digital art, 3D illusions, light installations, and interactive murals. The line between physical and digital space is becoming thinner. At the same time, social and political challenges around the world ensure that street art will remain an important voice of society. In times of crisis, people turn to walls to express their fears, hopes, and demands. In times of peace, they use street art to celebrate culture, identity, and imagination. The future of street art will likely be even more diverse, global, and innovative. But one thing will remain the same: the desire to speak, to create, and to be heard. 20. Conclusion: street art as a mirror and a voice. Street art is more than images on walls. It is a living, breathing conversation between artists and society. It reflects the emotions of communities, the struggles of individuals, and the dreams of entire generations. It gives a voice to people who are often ignored. It turns the city into a canvas, a museum, and a storyteller. Whether it appears as a quiet symbol on a small wall or a massive mural covering a building, street art carries meaning. It invites us to look closer not only at the artwork, but at the world around us. It challenges us, inspires us, and often surprises us. In every line, color, and message, street art reminds us that society is alive, expressive, and full of voices waiting to be heard.